I'm Jamie Moon, and thanks for watching Pet Talk. Today we're going to go out to the Missoula Humane Society, and we're going to see where it is, what the facility looks like. We're going to meet everybody who works there, see what their daily duties are, and take a look at the animals who are up for adoption there. So we're just getting ready to go, so come on along. The Humane Society is on Clark Fork Drive, right off Reserve Street, the north end of Reserve Street, just about a block south of the Mullen Road intersection. And Clark Fork Drive goes right along the Clark Fork River, and then you turn right into the parking lot for the animal shelter of the Missoula County Humane Society.
Okay.
Come on.
Hi, did you need help?
Yeah, I've got a dog here for you.
Okay, why don't you bring the dog right in here and I'll get some more information from you.
Okay. Come on.
Okay. Your dog?
Yeah.
Okay, what's his name?
Regis. Purebred. Paid $250 for it.
What kind of dog is it?
Norwegian Elkhound.
Okay. And how old is he?
Just a little over a year.
Alright, and why are you bringing him in?
Well, we just moved into a new house and he's been digging in the new yard and he's gotten out a couple times and I've had to pay to get him back at the pound, I don't know how many times, and
Okay.
we're kind of fed up.
Do you have a fenced yard or any kind of confinement for him?
Yeah, oh yeah, we got a fenced yard and he just keeps digging underneath it. And
Okay. Well, have you ever heard of a trolley system? There's where you run a runner between a house and a tree or a house and a post, and there's a cable that runs down to the dog so they can still get exercise. Have you ever thought of putting something up like that?
Well, no, we're just tired of him, really. I think we just want to give him up.
Okay. Can confine. And what were you feeding him? Gravy tree.
I brought that in for you.
Alright. Where did you get the dog from?
Local breeder here in town. $250. Purebred.
And how long have you owned him?
Well, since he was a pup, I mean, just about a year, I suppose.
Okay. Any health problems that you noticed?
No. No, he did fall out of the truck once right after we got him, and he limped for a day or two, but he seems fine now.
Alright. And has he bitten anyone in the past 10 days?
Oh, no.
Okay. What I need for you to do is to fill out the information on the back. The more you can tell us about the dog, the easier it is for us to find him a home, to see if he is adoptable, and to what kind of family he would go to.
All right. I think he'd make somebody a good dog. You know, he just needs a little room to roam.
Well, that's not really going to solve his problem. Even dogs out in the country get into a lot of trouble, even if they have a lot of area to run. People don't like other dogs crossing off into their property, and it doesn't take a dog any time at all to get 5 miles, 10 miles down the road.
Yeah, I suppose.
So, and being a purebred isn't necessarily in his favor.
Oh, really?
So, no, about 20% of the dogs we get in here are purebred animals. So a lot of times people want animals that are trained, that are already housebroken. It appears that, I mean, he's got a lot of bad habits. He jumps up on people, he's chewing, he's digging, he's roaming, he's not housebroken. People that come in here do want a dog that is already trained. They don't want to have to deal with him. You didn't have the time to train him. A lot of other people aren't going to want to take the time to train him. You already have the attachment and you're not willing to do that. It's really hard to find someone else that is willing to do that for him. We have no set period for how long we keep the animals. We try to keep them as long as we possibly can. We have had dogs here for up to 5 months, but there's never a guarantee. Just because he is purebred does not mean that he will be adopted.
Well, you're not going to kill him, are you?
There's a possibility. There's never a guarantee. We try as hard as we possibly can to place him in a family where it will be a lifelong situation. We don't want these dogs passed around. It doesn't do them a bit of good. In fact, it really is hard on them coming in here. What I need you to do is to read through the statement of surrender, print your name, address, signature, social security number, and phone number. That's signing them over to us. Do read through it. And like I said, there is no guarantee. We also do ask for a $20 surrender fee. He's here for an average of about 2 weeks for them to be adopted out.
$20? I mean, I paid $250.
You paid the breeder, you didn't pay us. We're not funded by any government money. The only way we are funded is by people that do support us, that use our services.
I thought you guys were going to be tickled pink with a purebred.
Well, as I was saying, we do get a lot of them, and that doesn't necessarily mean that he will be adopted.
All right.
We will see what we can do for him. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Come on, Reach. Come. We just sit.
Okay. Connie Carson is the director of the Missoula Humane Society.
Okay, the shelter is approximately 27 years old and was built on what used to be the old city dump, and accommodates approximately anywhere between 75 and 95 animals each day. We have the ability to house about 28 adult dogs, 21 puppies, 18 to 25 cats, and approximately 21 kittens at any given time. We also house a variety of other small animals, gerbils, hamsters, ferrets, rabbits, and birds too. We accommodate about 50 to 70 of those animals on an annual basis, plus a wide variety of wildlife as well too. Most of the wildlife species come to us during the spring and summer months, and we handle about 60 to 80 wild animals every year as well too. Our accommodations for both the dogs and the cat include indoor and outdoor facilities. We have a number of outdoor runs for the dogs. We have a puppy exercise yard that can be subdivided into 4 smaller areas. We have 4 large exercise runs for the small to medium-sized dogs for exercising outside. They are placed in groups according to their sex size and compatibility during the period of time that the dog kennels are being cleaned and disinfected in the morning, and then they are also let out again in the afternoon for exercise and play. We have large exercise areas for the large dogs, including approximately an acre field in back of the facility, so that they have a lot of room to run around in, and it also provides a space for volunteers who come out and spend time with the dogs to play with them off-lead outside as well too. The exercise areas that we have for the cats include an outdoor exercise cage outside, which we use when we have nice weather, and then we have an indoor area that we use all year round. We're able to give groups of kittens or individual adult cats the chance to get out and kind of stretch their legs a little bit. And we also use an area off the cat room for allowing the animals to come in and play and stretch out, including this office, which becomes an overnight area and a daytime area for a variety of dogs and cats and birds and whatever we need to house in here. We have 2 isolation wards for cats. We can accommodate up to 8 cats in the facility. We're treating primarily cats that may have an upper respiratory infection, which would need to be isolated from the main population to avoid those animals contaminating or to avoid those animals spreading their contagious disease to other cats in the facility. We have 4 dog runs where we can again isolate dogs that have an upper respiratory infection such as kennel cough, and during the period of time that they're in isolation, which can vary on the average of anywhere between 10 days and 2 weeks, although it's not unusual to treat any individual animal beyond a 2-week period for an upper respiratory infection. I would say that on the average we probably treat one way or the other probably 400 to 450 animals each year for any one variety of medical problems. Some of them can be emergencies, animals that have been hit by a car or have come in injured or are very sick. When they arrive at the shelter, they may come in with ear mites, they may need flea or lice treatment. Those are probably some of the more, or ear mite treatment, those are probably the minor ones that we deal with. But both kittens and puppies and dogs and cats are all treated down here for a variety of problems that they may come in with or they may acquire once they arrive here as well too. We have, we accommodate and receive approximately 3,000 animals each year. The numbers. Hi, can I help you?
Yeah, we've got these kitties and this cat we need to bring down here. We need to
Okay,
get rid of them.
are these your cats?
Yeah, they're our cats.
Okay, why don't we go into the admin room?
Oh, okay.
In here?
Yeah. How many are there in here, sir, in the box?
Well, there's Sophie, the mother, and then there's two little kitties.
Why don't you bring them on over there and put them in the...
Okay. Hey, you want to hold on?
Get one.
All right. Hey.
Okay, the mother's name was Sophie?
Sophie, yeah.
Okay.
That's what my kid's name is.
And how old is she?
I don't know.
I don't know. People didn't say.
Okay.
Got her out of the paper.
Okay, so do you know how old the mother, you don't know how old she is at all, approximately?
No.
How long have you had her?
I've had her for about 2 years or so.
Okay, okay. And, let's see, you got her out of the paper, giveaway ad?
Yeah.
Okay. And, what do you feed her?
Well, basically what's ever on sale, you know,
Okay.
like
Dry.
dry cat food.
Right, okay, and why are you bringing her in?
Well, this is like the third litter she's had, and just can't deal with her litters anymore. And we need to bring her in and get rid of her. Our kid that had her, he's moved off to boarding school, so there's no reason for her to be around anymore.
Okay, all right. Well, has she ever bitten or broken the skin?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't
Okay, all right. And do you know of any health problems that she might have? Sneezing?
I don't know. She's
Diarrhea.
outside all the time.
She's
so.
outside all the time. Okay. Okay. Well, what I need you to do here is I need you to fill out this personality profile. This helps us to know more about her and her personality, whether she's
Yeah, okay.
adoptable or not. If you could do that, I greatly appreciate it.
All right.
I don't know if you're aware that this is about the 40th kitten I've gotten in today, and you know, I don't know. Have you considered getting another spayed at all, or?
No, it's too expensive.
Okay, but maybe it'd be less expensive if you considered that it might be a lot cheaper to get her spayed rather than having her continue to have litters and feeding them. And
Well, we were able to find homes for the first couple litters.
Yeah, first
That
couple
hasn't
litters.
been a problem.
well, I'll tell you, last month we got in 185 kittens, and we adopted
Wow.
only 35 of them. The rest were put to sleep. So you might want to think about that in the future. There's just not enough homes.
Yeah, that's part of the reason we're getting rid of her. We just can't find homes anymore.
Yeah.
Let's see, use litter box. Well, I don't know. She's outside all the
Outside.
time. I don't think so. No. Let's see. Destructive, shy, finicky, aggressive.
Has she ever had any vaccinations at all?
Oh, no, we never took
They
that.
said she had all the shots on her back.
Okay, a cat has to have distemper rhino shot yearly and a rabies shot yearly too, so that's really necessary.
Oh,
All animals
okay.
need
I didn't
to
know
be
that.
vaccinated.
I thought you just did that for a dog.
No, that's for a cat too.
Okay. It's cloth furniture, no, she's in the house. Right. Yeah. She dug up your whole flower bed, didn't
Yeah,
she?
she did get my plans.
Well, cats do those kind of things.
kill rodents first. Never did that. It was surprising. 2 plants. Yeah, sweet plant too. Dump trash. Bite. I don't know.
She doesn't like to be picked up too much.
No.
Has she
not
been?
at all.
Have you had her inside at all, but where she's had any kind of human
Not
contact?
much, huh?
Cats, if they aren't picked up in how they need, that they won't.
No.
They'll
no.
bite. They'll be unfriendly.
Yeah,
Cats
she was
sick.
basically a mouser.
Yeah, kept her out of her shed.
Yeah.
Was it fed? Let's see.
And are you able to leave any money for this today for the care of your cat? We're running donations here.
We're really poor.
We don't have very much money right now at all.
Okay. Because here it costs us about $50 for vaccinations, food. We worm the kittens when they come in the time while they're here. So it costs us about $50.
Oh, we don't have any money at all.
And if not, then we have to, if it's not used for that, if we can't keep them, we have to use it for euthanizing. So what I'll do is send you home a card, and that way, when you can send us some, we greatly appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't think we'll be able to send anything.
Okay, well, maybe in the future you might.
Okay.
And were these all of the kittens? Did you keep any of them? Or?
Oh, we're keeping a male.
Okay.
Keeping one male.
Okay.
Giving these away.
Keep the mice down?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the male will also need to be neutered. Okay. Males are part of the problem, the overpopulation problem. There's female and there's a male. There's another side of it. Are you able to afford to get him
No,
neutered?
probably not.
Okay.
Not in the near future, anyway.
Okay, well, the male should be neutered at 8 months old, and they can father many kittens, many litters, different litters. A female cat can go into heat, and she can get impregnated by more than one male. So, and he's not going to want to stay home a lot too. He'll want to go out and roam. So you might really want to
We
consider
have
that.
a lot of land.
Oh, you have a lot of land. Oh, well, that doesn't always, help. Then you have a lot of land, and you have a lot of kittens roaming around on the land. And
Well, we'll think about it.
Of course, we
Okay.
have lost cats to owls, though. So,
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay, well, I'll give you this. This is, like I said, if you can send in a donation, we'd appreciate it. And this is on pet overpopulation and what our numbers and statistics are here and worldwide. Really would like you to read it, please. Okay?
Okay.
And we'll do the best we can. Okay?
All right, thanks.
Read it, please. Okay?
Okay.
And we'll do the best we can. Okay?
All right, thanks.
Okay, now Marlise and Kim, we just saw you deal with people from the community of Missoula bringing in their animals, and I guess this is a pretty common occurrence every day. This is what part of your job is,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And Kim, you've worked here about a year
Mm-hmm.
a year and a half, okay. Now, the woman that brought the mother cat and a litter of kittens, is this something you see quite a bit of?
Yeah, almost every day.
Every day,
Almost.
okay. And I noticed that she said that the kittens were really cute, that you shouldn't have trouble finding a home for them. Is that true?
Well, that, like I said, that would be, as I told her, we're full right now, and all the kittens that we have here right now are cute, but it doesn't guarantee them a home.
Right. How many kittens can you keep here?
Approximately, I'd say about 20 to 25 kittens.
Okay, and then during the summer season, I guess that's the biggest kitten
yeah.
time, right?
Right.
So you may get...
Even through to November. People don't realize that it goes beyond summer. A lot of times people wait until they have older litters, and then when it starts getting cold, they start bringing them all in. So the kitten season is actually quite a long season. It can go
Right.
anywhere from March till November.
And isn't that's the intense peak kitten season, but that actually a cat can breed all year long?
Right. And it's just nonstop.
Right. So you may, during the peak season, which we're still in right now as we're taping, could see how many kittens come through that door in a day.
You never know. We never know what's going to come in through the door, but kittens are the #1 animal that we have to put to sleep. Everyone just assumes that kittens are cute, that we're going to be able to find a home for them. A lot of the kittens that we do get are not old enough to keep, but they're still the #1 animal that we have to euthanize.
Because you get in, say, what, 1,000 or 2,000 or?
We get over, I think last year we got about 725 kittens in,
Oh, yeah.
and there's just not enough homes for them all.
In one day, you know, we can get in 35 to 40 animals in one day, and the majority of that is usually kittens.
So I would imagine that would get pretty frustrating with another person coming in happily giving you kittens, thinking
Right.
that you're going to find homes for them. Now, how do you maintain your even keel and not, take your frustration out on the person that comes through the door?
I would have to say that education would be the main thing. I have to remember that as frustrated as I get and as angry as I get at people, that me blowing off to them isn't going to teach them anything. It's not going to do any good. It might make me feel better for a few minutes. But education is the main key. Is teaching them, that animals, female can have 3 litters of kittens a year. And I mean, they just have to know that that's what happens.
And so she was keeping one of the kittens. She was tired of the mother cat, but she was keeping one of the male kittens and had no intentions of having him neutered. Right?
I don't know if she did. I explained to her that she really needed to do that. But that's what's really hard too, is that that they're going out with another kitten, and
Males are half the problem.
Males are half the problem because they help create all these little babies that we have in this room right now. So it's just really frustrating,
Actually, I would think that they were more than half of the problem if they could impregnate several
That's true.
Absolutely.
cats, female cats, that it's, you even have a bigger responsibility if you have a male animal to have him neutered,
Sure.
I would think. Now, you handled the man who brought in the purebred, paid $250, was it, I think you said?
$250 for that.
Right. And he seemed quite shocked that you weren't tickled pink to get a purebred German Shepherd in.
People want dogs that are really cute. They think they want a breed dog or a purebred dog, but they don't realize how much time puppies take. And we get so many animals in here that are right around 8 to 9 months old because the people got a cute, adorable puppy, and then they had no time for it. And as the dog wasn't getting housebroken, they put the dog outside. As the dog gets outside, he gets lonely and frustrated, winds up digging, barking, and chewing. Soon their yard is destroyed, the neighbors are complaining, the animals are getting picked up. It's just nonstop.
What do you mean picked up?
Well, if a dog is outside all the time and is bored, it's going to find a way to get it loose. Unless you've got a really good setup for the dog. Dogs are very ingenuitive as to how to get out of a yard. So it is frustrating. Just because it's a purebred dog doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to be adopted.
And so this cycle goes on constantly with the person getting a purebred dog, not training the dog, not socializing the dog, not spending any time with the dog. The dog becomes a problem, and by the time it's 9 months old, it's brought down here. And do you get a lot of purebreds here?
20% of the animals 20% of the dogs that are brought in are purebred animals. The same cycle does happen for dogs that are not purebred as well, but we do get a lot of purebred animals in, and people don't realize that they don't expect to find purebred animals in a shelter situation.
And with the purebreds that you do get in, do most of them get adopted?
People are drawn to them. People do, they think it's pretty fancy to be able to come down and get a purebred animal, and it's they don't have to go to the big expense. But not all of them get adopted. I'd say that most of them do, but not all of them do.
And the main problem with that is people that come in that want to adopt a purebred. The first question is, do we have to get him neutered or spayed?
Yeah, they want to
It's just
breed
a breeding cycle. They want to breed them and mix them.
They want to breed their own little German Shepherds so that the homes that they sell them to can each bring them in 9 months and say, well, we bought them for $250.
And the other thing about purebred animals is that we have a lot of cockers, for instance, that come in that are fear biters, that through genetics or not careful breeding, the animal has problems that aren't necessarily environmentally induced, but that have other problems that people don't think about, or hip dysplasia, or there's all kinds of things that are, quote, not wonderful about purebred animals.
And well, Marlies, how long have you worked here?
Almost 4 years.
Really? So I would think that it would take a pretty big emotional toll to work here. You have to do the euthanizing also, don't you, as an employee here? And so how often on average a week are you involved in euthanizing an animal?
Oh, more than I would ever care to admit.
Well,
A lot.
tell us for our educational purposes?
Every day, every single day, we euthanize anywhere from 1 to 20 animals, depending on what time of year it is. There have been times when it seems like all we do is stand in the room and euthanize animals. And it gets really tiring.
And so I would imagine that I just admire you so for not saying that to the people who bring in more in their ignorance.
Well, if you irritate people, they're not going to listen. As soon as they get on the defensive, their ears close down. The only time you can badmouth them is when they're outside the door, and that's the only time we can blow out steam. But when the people are in the room, granted it doesn't happen all the time, but we really do try to keep our cool and to at least send them out the door with a little bit of information, more than what they came in with.
Well, I would guess that it would be even more difficult to send an animal from the shelter to a new home, someone who comes in and wants to adopt an animal and is as ignorant and misinformed as the people that we just saw surrendering animals. A person who walks in and wants an animal and has no idea of how to really care for an animal. So I think we'd like to stick around and see if we can shoot some footage of somebody coming in and actually adopting an animal and see how the staff handles that. So thanks a lot for talking to me.
To adopt.
Okay, probably the first thing to do is to start by looking at everybody. All our dogs are straight back in the kennel.
Okay.
You can make a circle around and take a look at everybody. Everybody's got a cage card that explains their name and their age and their sex and why they're here. And then if you see somebody you like, we can get you to take them out on a leash and spend some time with them, see if you like them.
Okay, great. Right through here?
Right, straight back. Help
Okay,
yourself.
thanks. I like this dog, Dozer.
Okay, let me give you what information we know about him, and we'll see if he's going to be right for you folks. Do you have any other pets at home?
I have a 6-year-old female cat.
Okay, he's great around cats, so
Good,
that should be a good choice for you. Do you have any kind of confinement to keep him on your property?
We have a fenced yard.
Good. Is it a pretty high fence? Or
6 foot.
that's
5 or
perfect.
6 foot.
That'd be
Wooden
perfect.
fence.
Good. Let's see. Okay. Dozer came in as a stray and was never claimed by an owner. The people who found him had him for, let's see, a week and a half. He is housebroken.
Good.
He's been with men, women, he's been around children of all ages with the people who found him. Likes to go swimming and he does like to fetch, so he should be a good boy for you. Why don't we go in the cat room and I'll give you some paperwork. This will explain the standards we have down here for adoption, and I'll need you to read through both sides and then sign in on the bottom if you agree with everything.
Okay.
And let me go over our prices with you. He is neutered already, so we have an adoption fee of $35. The adoption fee will include his distemper parvo 5-in-1 shot we gave him when he came in here. That is good for a year.
Okay.
We give you a free veterinary checkup at the veterinarian of your choice. We give you a collar and ID tag for him and food samples, information on training and dogs in general.
Great.
The other fee is $10 for his rabies shot that is required by the health department. What you'll do is pay for that shot today. I'll give you a certificate. You'll take that to your veterinarian, and then they'll vaccinate him at your veterinarian for rabies.
Okay.
So a total fee for him would be $45 today. Why don't you take the time to read through that, and then we'll get started on the application.
Okay.
Let me go over the application with you, Alex.
Okay.
Your partner, Pat, at home is aware that you're getting a dog? And
Right.
that's okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. I see you are renting right now. You've checked with your landlord and
Yes,
and it's
she says
okay?
it's fine.
Okay. What we'll do is just call them from here just to make sure it's going to be okay. We see so
Okay.
many bad cases of pets being returned because of landlord problems or having animals come in that we do like to talk to them directly. And I'll
Okay,
give
that's
her a
fine.
call right away.
That's a good idea.
And your son at home is okay with animals?
Right.
Good.
Yes.
That's great. It's
He
nice
is.
for them to have a pet
Yes,
at home.
he's one wanting a dog.
Great. And your cat, 6 years old. That's
Right.
great. Has she
She's
ever
working
been
there.
around dogs before?
We haven't had our own dog, but she's been around my neighbor's dogs and seems real comfortable.
Okay. Good. Dozer's wonderful with cats, so
Right.
it should be just a little bit of an adjustment, but they should get along great.
Okay.
And your veterinarian, your cat's current on his vaccinations?
She
Great.
is.
We'll just double check with your veterinarian and make sure that that's okay, just to prevent any risk with disease.
Okay.
And both you and your partner work pretty much full-time?
We do.
Okay.
We're gone all day.
Okay. getting an adult animal is wonderful. They're pretty adaptable to that kind of a situation. And being in a fenced yard, you know, is nice. First couple of days I would watch him when he's out in your yard just to make sure he can't get over it or under it.
Okay.
And if you can come home for lunch the first couple of days, that'll help him
Sure,
adjust
we
to
can
it.
do that.
And inside at night, that's ideal. They do a lot better that way, and they get quality time with their owners. Okay, and your 5-foot wooden fence, that's perfect. That should hold him without a problem. Well, everything looks great. Let me get started on the contract here.
Okay.
It'll be just a couple more minutes. Alex, this is our contract that I will go over with you. It is a legal binding contract between you and the Missoula Humane Society here. We're expecting you to provide adequate food, water, shelter, exercise, and vet care for Dozer for the rest of his life. He has already been neutered, so some of it will not apply to you. We can't guarantee his health or his behavior, and we do ask that if you need to get rid of him, that you return him to us at the shelter here as opposed to passing him on to another party. We really like to keep track of our animals that way. This portion of the contract will go for his free veterinary checkup, and your vet will gladly accept that. It's good at all the veterinarians. We do ask that it be done within a week's time, just to make sure that the animal that you're getting from us is in good health. This will be for the vet's record saying he had his 5-in-1 distemper parvo shot when he came in here 3 weeks ago. His temperature was fine coming in. His weight was real good. We'll check his temperature and his weight before he goes with you today.
Right.
Our observations have been down here that he has been in great health. His appetite is good. We haven't seen any type of digestive problems. However, we do ask that you watch for kennel cough. Kennel cough is a dog cold. Do watch for a lot of coughing. It's a dry, honking type of cough, and it is common when the weather goes back and forth a lot. If he does start to cough, get him into your vet and have him checked over. Okay. I'll need you to read through this top part and your signature and date down there if you agree with everything. We do like to give you a lot of information on dogs in general, and this is just a packet for you on adult dogs like Dozer that you're adopting. Probably one of your first concerns is going to be housebreaking, but he is pretty much housebroken here. Don't be upset if he makes a mess tonight or tomorrow, just in the stress of changing homes. What we encourage you to do is just to get on a consistent routine with him where he's being fed the same time every day and he gets outside on a regular basis. When you think he has to go outside to go to the bathroom, take him out on a leash the first couple times to the area in your yard that you want him to go. And when he either defecates or urinates, just praise him, really overdo it with the praise so he knows that he's being a good boy by going out to that spot. Dogs like to frequent one area, so that's ideal just to get him out right away where you want him to go. If he does make a mess, I would just clean him up. I wouldn't discipline him for it at all. If you do run into a problem with housebreaking, give us a call right away. We'll send you more information on it. He's at a really nice age. He's kind of beyond the chewing stages and puppy behavior. However, dogs do also like their own toys, so you might get some tennis balls and some chewies and all that kind of good stuff for him. He is relatively young, so he's pretty trainable. He does know some of the basic stuff already, but it wouldn't hurt to refresh that with him. And we encourage you to use the praise method down here, where you're praising him for doing things right as opposed to disciplining him for doing things wrong. He's had a tough time. He was lost, came in here, was here for 3 weeks, and then he's going out into a totally new environment. Be real patient with him and understanding of that fact. It'll take quite a while before he bonds to you as an owner and before he feels secure. If he does start to chew, just make sure he has enough of his own things to chew on. If he picks up your stuff around the house, which he might do because he doesn't know better, just take your shoe or your slipper or whatever out of his mouth and immediately give him something of his own to chew on. And he'll get the idea it's okay to chew, but only on certain items. If you do run into any kind of behavior problems that you don't know what to do, we ask that you call us right away. That's what we're here for. We've got a great referral service down here. More than happy to help you out with anything at all. We can always refer you to specific trainers or anything like that at all. With dogs, like with kids, as your experience with, it's important to catch a problem right away. Don't wait 2 weeks and get real frustrated with him and him real frustrated with you. Call somebody right away. That's real important to do, so I'll pass that on to you. We'll also give you some food samples
Oh,
today
great.
for him. It's really important for adults, dogs to have a very high quality dry dog food.
Okay.
At his age, being a year old, all he needs is a dry dog food. Doesn't need canned food or scraps. Most of that
Okay.
tends to be too rich for him, and if you give him people food, it'll give him diarrhea or make him throw up.
Okay, so stick with this.
Just dry food in a
Okay.
bowl. Do stick with a quality name. Don't buy generic or store family brands. It tends to be bad and low in minerals and important vitamins and
Okay.
supplements that they need. And a plain flavored chow is best. Try and stay away from the real fancy stuff with a lot of dye and preservatives.
Okay.
Not real good for the dogs.
Okay.
So just plain chow in a bowl, and if you want to feed him once or twice a day, that's fine, whatever's good for your schedule.
Okay.
He's been on a routine here where he's fed in the morning at about 10 o'clock, and the bowl is left in his kennel. He does tend to be one of those who eats right away. So
Okay.
you might want to feed him in the morning, and he'll get used to that routine
Okay.
also at your house. Okay, and plenty of fresh water every day.
Okay.
That's real important. Also, no milk or anything like that, just fresh water. We'll also set you up with a collar and identification tag for him. The ID tag has our name and phone number here, and a number at the bottom where we have your name and number recorded in a book.
Okay.
Pretty much temporary. We urge you to get your own ID tag on him right away. It saves a lot of hassle. If he gets out of your yard, a neighbor can just return him to you right
Oh, I
away.
see.
I'll give you a form to get your own ID tag, and this is a nice steel engraved tag. It'll come directly back to you.
Great, with my name on it,
Yeah.
okay.
And the collar here, whatever color choice you like, is going to be fine with us.
I think I'm gonna have to go with red.
Red, bright
Yes,
red.
for a black
That looks
lab.
great. Okay, we'll take his temperature and weigh him, and I'll set this up on him, and then you'll be all set to go.
Great.
Any other questions you have?
I don't think so. You've
Okay.
covered most everything.
Okay, well, if you do have any questions in the future, give us a call.
Okay, I will do that.
All right. Well, he's all ready for you. I'll bring him around for you.
Oh, he looks nice in red.
Yeah, he looks great. He's a good boy. If you have any problems at all, give us a call.
Hi, Dozer. Ready to go home, boy? Good job. Good job.
And have fun.
I will. I'll let you
Enjoy
know
it.
how things go.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Come on, Dozer. Good boy.
Bye-bye.
Let's go home. All right. This way, buddy. Good job. Watch your foot. Good boy.
We have a staff of 10, including myself, Jan Miller, who's the manager, and Michelle Hutchins, who does our education and publicity programs. We have 7 animal caretakers. They all work part-time. And their day starts very early in the morning at approximately 7:30. At that time, the dogs are let outside in groups according to their sex size and compatibility with one another. While the dogs are being let out, another person is here to pick up all their food and water bowls and get them disinfected. And the dog runs are hoop scooped at that time, and then the washing procedure begins. They are rinsed and disinfected, and then rinsed again, and then squeegeed dry. And then at 8:30 we have our second shift of animal caretakers that come in to begin working on the cats. And for the cats, each cat is taken out of its individual cage, or a group of kittens is removed from the cage, and then their litter boxes are changed. They're given a fresh litter box and fresh food and water bowls each day, along with fresh bedding. All of this takes every bit of the time between 7:30 in the morning and 11 o'clock when we open. Once all the animals have been fed and cleaned and the dogs have been let back inside, then all the dogs or cats that need medication or any kind of medical treatment are given their treatment before we open the door. And at 11 o'clock, we open and become available to the public who are either bringing in animals, may wish to come in and look at animals, adopt pets, and then the phone begins to ring off the hook. The phone calls can be taking lost and found reports, trying to help people with individual behavior problems, or just care information as well too. So our staff needs to be trained ahead of time to deal with the common problems that most people encounter with their pets, and primarily dogs.
Okay, well, I would like to know what is the greatest thing about working here? Why do you come to work every day? You must love it if you've been here 8 years, 5 years. What makes you get up in the morning and come here every day, year after year? What's so great about working here? Michelle, what do you find so great about working here?
Well, the animals first and foremost, I guess. It's really fun and rewarding to spend time with the animals, and in my case too, talking to kids is really rewarding. Talking to kids about animals and watching kids and animals interacting. So I really enjoy that a lot. I enjoy the people I work with. They make it a lot more fun and a lot more bearable. It's you never know what's going to happen, what's going to come through the door. Every single day is different. Animals, of course, people, of course, that we work with. It's a good cause. I feel good about what I do.
Matching the right animals with the right people, and knowing that you're doing a good job at it, you're counseling them, and that they're finding something that's going to be a lifetime pet for them, and it's probably going to work out. It's a nice thing. Making a difference with people, making them understand about spaying and neutering, and changing their view maybe on some certain things.
Do you think you are having an impact, that people are getting the message and are spaying and neutering?
We're getting fewer
The
animals
numbers
in.
are showing, yeah.
How much is it really dramatic, the numbers?
We're down probably 1,500 from 7 or 8 years ago coming
Really?
in.
Yeah, I think the reduction's been probably close to 35 to 40%.
Every
Numbers
year?
coming in.
Or
No,
since?
I mean over an 8-year span.
Okay.
That's what we've
Uh-huh.
seen. So I don't think you notice the difference when you're dealing with it on a day-to-day basis, or necessarily even at the end of 1 year. But when you look back, over 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, you know that we're making an impact in the community.
Well, how many animals did you get in last year? In 1989, how many did
A
you
little
get
less
in?
than 3,000. When I started here, we were taking in over 4,500 animals.
Wow. Okay.
And our spay-neuter rate has probably gone from about 33% to over 96% right now.
I'm not sure what that means, your spay or neuter rate.
That's the number of animals that are immature or have not been spayed or neutered by the time they leave here. And that number of animals going out right now, 33% of the animals were actually being spayed or neutered that we were aware of when we first started here. And right now, with the tracking system we have and the greater emphasis on spaying and neutering and the adoption contract, that rate is now up to 96% of all the animals that leave the Humane Society are spayed and neutered at maturity.
That's fantastic.
Before they produce a litter.
Great.
So that's making a big difference.
Well, Connie, what do you find so great about working here?
There are a lot of things. It's a real rewarding job. It's very challenging. Every day is a little bit different. We have a wonderful staff, people down here. Everyone's very supportive of one another. It makes dealing with all the problems that we have down here on a daily basis easier to deal with. And I think being able to place animals into new homes and knowing that those animals are going into a better place than what they came from in most cases. Dealing with animals that came in perhaps with behavior problems or temperament problems that we've been able to, with our volunteers and staff, correct and or at least make a difference in and alter or change for the better, and then be able to place those animals into a home where the new family is going to be matched not only with their time and their finances, but their lifestyle as well with the new pet coming in is really wonderful. And just getting back in touch with those people and finding out how those animals are going, getting the postcards and the pictures and the letters and the phone calls, I think is the biggest thing that makes it worth coming back in here every day.
So it sounds like there's such a balance that you see the best of human nature and the worst of human nature, and it balances out each other. That's what makes it bearable, makes the worst of it bearable.
Well, it's just the animals need somebody. They need someone to stand up for them or to talk for them since they can't do that. And it's nice to be able to know that you can do that, at least to some extent.
I'm Michelle Frody-Hutchins. I'm the Education and Publicity Coordinator at the Humane Society. I studied geology and environmental studies, and I specialized in environmental education, which kind of led me nicely into humane education. I'm married, and my husband and I have lived in Missoula for 14 years now. And he teaches orchestra in Missoula School District 1. And we have dogs, not kids.
Michelle, what exactly what do you do in that job, that position? Explain what that position is that you have. That title.
Well, I plan and carry out the education program, which involves going to classrooms and talking to kids about animals and pet care and all kinds of animal-related issues. And I also coordinate the volunteer programs here at the shelter, including the nursing home program and animal socialization program and things like that. And I write the public service announcements and help out with the Pet of the Week spots and things like that.
I'm Jan Miller. I'm the manager of the Humane Society. And I've been here for 8 years now. I'm married and have a son, 3-year-old. And I've studied zoology at the university, and also I'm a veterinary technician, which is probably how I got into this to begin with. That's good. I can't do this. We kind of have a cooperative management system here, so we all take part in it as far as the hiring and the firing. There's just the basic ordering of things to be done. And I guess what's best about it is the progressive nature of the Humane Society. We're always changing things to make them better. And that can be as basic as changing the forms or changing the policies in what we do here. But it's a real team effort.
I'm Marlise. I have a degree in wildlife biology, and I wound up at the Humane Society, or I guess I chose to be at the Humane Society instead of working with wild animals. I've been here for almost 4 years, and I take care with checking in animals, dealing with the general public, do basic animal care, help people decide which animals they would like to adopt, which animals they are best apt to adopt, and that's about it.
That was really good. My name is Betsy Stone. I've been here about almost 5 years. Live in Ovando, a little ways away from Missoula, with my husband. We don't have any kids, we just have animals. I do the general work here like Marlise, checking in animals, cleaning, adopting out animals, just making the day go easier, and that's about it. I have a degree in fish and wildlife management from Bozeman, and that's about it.
Okay. I'm Connie Carson, and I'm the director of the Humane Society. My background is in sociobiology, and I have a degree in wildlife biology as well. I'm a vet technician, and I served on the board of the directors of the Humane Society for 3 years, resigned from that position, and was hired on as the director, and I have been in that position for 5 years now. I am married, have been forever, and we have no children, but we have pets, and have lived in Missoula for 14 years.
As the director of the Humane Society, I work with all the members of the staff and very closely with Michelle and Jan on program planning, setting the goals for the organization, and working with all the various services that we have. And I work very closely with all the members of the board of directors, setting programs, goals, and future plans for the organization and the shelter itself.
What about the flip side of the coin? What is the worst thing about working here?
The reasons for surrender, I think, are the most difficult for me to hear over and over again. Silly reasons they give up their pets.
So for 8 years, do you work 5 days a week?
Not anymore, 4.
4 days a week. You hear what over and over every day?
We're moving, you know, the new landlord won't let us keep them. We have too many.
It's too big.
Yeah.
He chews. He sheds.
He barks.
Yeah.
He doesn't bark.
He doesn't bark.
He barks and he doesn't bark. We've gotten both. Yeah.
Can't find homes for is a number one.
That's the most popular reason that people give for surrendering pets.
And
This must be litters then?
Litters, yeah.
Can't find homes for litters. And moving is the second most often used.
Or landlord problems,
Yeah.
Or behavior problems that really aren't the animal's fault to start with.
Right.
Yeah.
Whose fault are they?
Owner problems.
Not enough time spent with the animal, not enough attention given to it when it needed the attention.
Not realizing what they're getting into. If they get a puppy, they don't realize, well, it needs to be trained, and then it's 8 months old, and it's a large dog, and not too big, and it's going crazy, and they can't control it. Just no clue what they were getting into.
Mm-hmm. Well, for people watching who may have a 4-month-old puppy that will be here in 4 months with their 8-month-old, and what can you do to prevent that, to stop
Obedience
that?
class right away. Definitely. Perfect age, 3
Where do they go?
months. There are a lot of kennels in Missoula that have classes.
So they should just look in the yellow pages and
Yeah.
call kennels and ask for obedience?
We refer to anybody. Firewind Training Kennels, Glenn Martin. He has puppy classes for pups under 6 months, and then regular adult classes.
And he
It's
uses a positive approach
very-
to training.
Yeah, very praise-oriented method.
In fact, everyone here on the staff has gone through one or more of his classes, so I think we feel confident with the methods that are used.
And even if they don't want to go to Glen Martin, we have enough resource down here that we can pretty much solve any of the problems. It's just that people get tired of having to deal with the problem. They find a cute puppy, and then all of a sudden it's more than they ever thought that they were getting into, and they don't really want to give out the time that they demand. Because we could basically solve most of people's problems
with the literature that you have
with
here?
literature down here, or just with suggestions that the staff, information that the staff has.
But by the time the person walks through the door, has loaded the animal up in the car and driven here, they're not ready to hear
No.
alternatives.
No, they're fed up. They're fed up. They're,
You always offer. You always offer, would you like suggestions to get over this problem? And
by that time, the last straw is already broken.
So you would just firmly recommend obedience training for dogs?
Or just
3 to 4 months enough.
researching
Okay.
a little bit about puppy or cat or
Right.
kitten behavior.
Come down to
first.
the Humane Society, pick up all the pamphlets and literature, talk to the staff here about how you can solve these problems, and just about every behavior problem in a dog that age is correctable.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Okay.
easily. And I think people really also need to kind of research what they're getting into. There are a lot of breeds out there, and there are a lot of breeds that aren't going to suit everybody's lifestyle. And if people really spent as much time looking for a dog or a cat as they did looking for a car, they would probably, end up with the kind of pet that would really be suitable to their lifestyle. Pets don't learn by osmosis. They need training, and they need reinforcement, and they need positive reinforcement and praise with everything that they do. And too many people seem to think that you can just get a puppy or a kitten and give it food and water, and that's enough. And it's not.
Come here, big guy. This
Okay, Michelle, well, tell me what your title is here at the Humane Society.
My title is Education and Publicity Coordinator.
Okay, so what, as far as the education aspect goes, what does that entail?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, education and publicity really blend into each other. I think they're not two separate things, but really one and the same to a large extent. The education program includes classroom visits to local schools, and last year, for example, I visited or had contact with between 2,000 and 2,500 kids, direct one-on-one contact, either in the classroom or tours here at the shelter.
Is this a K through 12?
It's preschool through university, really.
Really?
So it really covers the whole range. And we talk about a variety of issues depending on the level, depending on the teacher's specific interests or requests for information. Basic pet care at the preschool, through elementary levels. And then, for example, in second grade, we talk a little bit about dog bite prevention and things like that. We do talk about euthanasia and the pet overpopulation program in the upper elementary and the high school level.
Why do you think it's important to go into schools and talk about dog bites and pet care and euthanasia?
Well, I think that these are issues that kids need to start thinking about early on. And I think you need to talk to them about these issues before they've really cemented some attitudes into place. And, I think that it's really worthwhile at any level, preschool through, university. But it's especially nice to be able to talk to kids in, first and second graders who are able to understand a lot of these concepts, but there are things that they haven't maybe thought about before. Things that their family doesn't put a lot of emphasis on. And this way they really have some food for thought, and hopefully it will foster some really more positive values as they grow older.
Okay. What do you mean by a responsible pet owner?
Well, there are some really simple, concrete steps that people can take to be more responsible with respect to their pets, such as wearing identification tags, collars with identification tags, both cats and dogs, getting their pets spayed and neutered so that they're not contributing to the overpopulation problem, providing proper food, water, and shelter, which seems like a very basic thing, but it's something that many of the animals in our community are deprived of on a regular basis. So those are some of the more concrete things. And then, of course, beyond that, we're trying to get them to really care about how their animals feel and make sure that they're happy and content, getting, playtime so that they have some stimulation and some fun, as well as just their physical needs, some companionship, because they really crave that. So there's a whole range of things, I guess, that come into play as far as being a responsible pet owner. But the things that we see, day after day, minute after minute at the shelter, unidentified animals coming in lost, and litters of puppies and kittens that nobody wanted. And those things really, I guess, motivate me to try to get these points across to these kids so that they're not...
What would you say is the number one issue, if you could focus all of your attention on one thing that would make the biggest difference in the quality of life of pet animals in Missoula, what would that be?
Well, I really would have to say spaying and neutering, because you have to realize that the animals that are actually pets in people's families are a minority of the animals that are being born every year. The majority end up dying, either through euthanasia or starving to death or being hit by cars because they've been abandoned, disease. And so really, I think overpopulation and reducing overpopulation in the future would make the biggest single difference to all the animals in the community. That you can't legitimately breed an animal when there are so many thousands of healthy animals being euthanized.
And on a nationwide level, isn't it millions?
Oh, it's millions. It's well over 10 million cats and dogs every year being euthanized. And that, of course, is only the ones that make it to the shelter. I've heard statistics as low as only 1 in 10 of all the pet animals born actually end up with a home. 90% end up dying through euthanasia or the various other hazards that they're exposed to if they're abandoned. I also, plan the publicity for fundraising events. And
why do you have fundraising events?
Well, since we're an independent nonprofit group, we don't get any government funding at this point in time. We really rely on fundraisers to help us meet our basic needs.
So you mean this shelter where you can take care of 100 animals at any time? Is that right? Is that what you're set up for about?
Well, generally I think we probably have closer to 80. 80 is probably a closer number. I think we probably could squeeze in 100, but that would be really unusual.
Okay, so you can take care of 80 animals here. You provide, what are the services that you provide to the community and to the animals?
Well, of course, the basic sheltering service of taking in unwanted animals and caring for them, adopting them out to responsible homes. We have a lost and found service where we try to match lost pets with their owners. We have our nursing home visitation program where we take shelter animals to area nursing homes, rehabilitation facilities, personal care facilities. We also have an information center with reference files so that if people want to get information on a specific animal-related topic, they can come and look through our files, get information for presentations or papers or speeches or whatever. A lot of university students and high school students use our reference files to get information. We have a pet counseling service. Really, people can call us just about any time and get some advice or referrals for animal behavior problems or specific pet-related problems that they're having.
But with your shelter, though, that's also, you're paying the utilities to keep this place warm,
right,
to have hot water, to wash the bedding. You're providing medication for the animals.
Medication for sick animals.
You're providing their vaccinations as they come in. You are exercising them, socializing them, feeding them, watering them, cleaning them, changing their litter boxes.
Exactly.
And you do all of this strictly on membership fees, donations, and fundraising events, and the fees that you get for selling the animals in adoptions, and the money that you ask when people bring animals in and surrender them.
Right. That's correct.
You get no city, county funds, taxpayer funds.
That's right.
And do you have anything to do with the volunteer program?
Yes. Part of my job is also to serve as the volunteer coordinator. So I do spend a fair amount of time working with the volunteers.
And I was just talking to a woman recently who thought that if you volunteered at the Humane Society, you had to put animals to sleep. That's why she's never come out to volunteer.
No, that's definitely not true.
So why don't you explain, if a person would like to volunteer at the Humane Society, what is the first step that they do, and then what would they expect when they came through the door here for the day to volunteer?
Okay. Well, we have our two main volunteer programs, our animal socialization program, and that's the one that we have the most volunteers in. That's where people can come in during any of the time that we're open and just spend time with the animals. Brushing cats and dogs, taking dogs for walks, holding them, comforting them, sometimes bathing them if they're dirty. And the whole goal behind that program is both to make the animals stay here more pleasant and less traumatic, but also to increase their adoptability. Because if their attitude is better, if they look better and feel better, they're more likely to be adopted. So they really play an important role. The staff just doesn't have as much time as it would like to spend with the animals, one-on-one time, which is what the animals really need.
And what are the other volunteer activities?
Okay, we also have a nursing home or a animal visitation program that takes shelter animals in teams of volunteers to local nursing homes and personal care facilities and rehab facilities once a month to give the residents a chance to interact with the animals. And the volunteers really have to like both animals and people because they serve as the facilitators and sort of help the people interact with the animals, make that as easy as possible, and make it as, some people are a little bit afraid of animals, and they try to kind of ease that over and make them feel comfortable. And it's been received very well. I think all the facilities that are participating in it feel strongly that it's beneficial to their residents. And we feel that it also helps the shelter animals because it gives them that much more time to interact with people and that much more socialization. We also have some volunteers that help us by transporting animals to vet clinics to be spayed or neutered. We do have a few donated spays or neuters every month. And volunteers come in the morning and pick the animals up, and in some cases bring them back in the afternoon to help the staff in shuttling the animals back and forth. Then we also have a few volunteers that help us by fostering animals that are sick when we don't have enough space in our isolation areas, or animals that are too young, would otherwise be too young to keep.
Well, when a person comes through the door, I think it would be intimidating to a lot of people to just show up and say, I'd like to volunteer, especially if it's busy and hectic as it can get around here. So what would you tell them to make it easier for them? What to expect?
Well, one thing that we do to make it easier for new volunteers is we require a short orientation session before they start in either program, so that they kind of know what to expect, what we're going to be asking of them, where things are, so they know where to find things. And that takes about an hour to an hour and a half. And I think that kind of eases them in a little bit. And then next time they come, it's not all brand new. They've had a tour, they've met some of the animals and the staff, and they kind of know what to expect.
Okay, so should a person just call?
Yeah, the best thing to do is to call and set up an appointment to have an orientation session.
Okay.
That's the first step.
And you're in the phone book under Missoula Humane Society. It's not a government listing.
Right, that's correct.
Missoula Humane Society. And maybe we can print the number across the screen at some point, but it's 549-3934.
That's correct. Or they can stop in to make the appointment for the orientation session if they're in the neighborhood.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
I think our community, on one hand, can be very proud that we have a facility such as ours to handle the numbers of homeless animals that are brought into our shelter each year, but at the same time, it should be a source of shame for this community that we have so many irresponsible pet owners, so many ignorant pet owners, so many indifferent pet owners, and not necessarily all indifferent pet owners, but many people indifferent to the plight of animals in our community and their needs as well, that we should have to exist in the first place. It's a very sad commentary, I think, on the social state of not only our community, which I don't think is unique, but certainly how we treat animals is a symptom of how we treat each other. And though in many ways it's getting better, you know, it's not ever going to be good enough in our lifetime. There are far too many animals that come in here who should never have had to come in here, and so many animals that will never be given a chance to find a new home simply because there aren't the homes available for them. And because of that, we end up having to euthanize literally thousands of animals every single year simply for lack of homes. Not necessarily just lack of good homes, just lack of homes, period. And it's very, very sad. This is not an unusual situation. We're sitting here close to the beginning of winter. This is a cat that has been hanging around this neighborhood since the summer. And up until about a month ago, really, her needs have been basically completely ignored. Someone found her, noticed that she was drooling, had a very bad odor to her mouth, and a lot of pus exuding from her mouth as well. This person had been feeding her, but really hadn't taken it upon themselves to bring her in right away. So for several months she's just been out there, and fortunately somebody was willing to feed her for a short time anyway, and has now brought her into the Humane Society. We have held her for her stray time, and we have advertised in the paper no one has called to claim her. We have checked our lost and found files, and we will check it one last time before we have to euthanize this cat. She has a large ulcer on the inside of her mouth that would require major surgery. There is a good possibility that she may be a feline leukemia carrier. This type of ulcer in the mouth is not uncommon with feline leukemia cats. Needless to say, her medical needs have been ignored for a very, very long time. She is suffering and is not able to eat very well, certainly not comfortably, and it's certainly a source of pain and discomfort for her. And for her, she has been one of the lucky ones to come to our shelter, but she is not going to be one of the lucky ones to find a new home.
Well, it's just, the animals need somebody. They need someone to stand up for them or to talk for them since they can't do that. And it's nice to be able to know that you can do that, at least to some extent.
Well, Jan, can you think of anything to add to what anyone else has said about the greatest stuff about working here?
I think it's that we're getting better, that it's wonderful to be part of something that just gets better and better.
You thank everybody.
Well, I would just like to say that those of us that work at the Humane Society have an opportunity to work with general members of the public who provide a lot of support, and we really, really appreciate all of our volunteers.
And certainly the people that adopt from us, we would have an awful lot more animals if it wasn't for them.
And we really have to thank all the people that are members of the Humane Society. They're very good show of force for support.
And our volunteer program, all the volunteers that come out and spend time with the animals, time that unfortunately being short-staffed, we don't have, and it makes a big difference with the animals and their adoptability.
I think I would have to say that on behalf of everybody on the staff and our board of directors, we are very, very grateful for all the support we received from many, many people in the community and outside of the community as well. And I know the animals thank everybody too.